Should I go first?
Welcome. Yeah. So welcome all the members to this new session of EDSC for this November sessions. We are very happy to organize these kinds of different learning experiences, wherein we invite exemplary speakers on the dais to educate and to learn from them. I welcome C. Shashank Agarwalji here, who was our former convener and chairman of NIRC 2021, our beloved Shri Shashank Agarwalji of all the members. I also welcome our speaker for the day, Shri Mohit Ratna ji and Advocate Shivashish Karnani ji. I should, also introduce you all with our speaker, Shri Mohit Ratna ji. Shri Mohit Ratna ji has been a commercial, commercial real estate consultant, or we can say transaction expert for that. He had been, associated with NAI Global, a USA-based real estate company, and now he has his own company called Infinity Retail that is working in Delhi, Gurgaon, and other NCR areas. He has, he have handled some high-profile mandated residential transactions in the New Delhi and Gurgaon market. And he has also helped clients build wealth over the long term in wealth throughout the strategies while making investment decisions. So I was discussing with him what we are going to learn and what's the perspective of today's webinar. So as told by him, we are going to learn a new avenue for chartered accountants wherein we can, consult our clients or give advice to our clients about investment opportunities available in the real estate sector also. Right, Mohit Ratna ji? Is that correct? Mohit ji, I think camera is okay.
It's okay now?
Yeah. So Mohit ji, that's what we are learning today?
Yes, absolutely. So it gives me absolutely great pleasure to sit in front of all of you, chartered accountants. And let me share something with you. I have a lot of family members who are chartered accountants, a lot of close friends who are chartered accountants. And when I was growing up in my teens, I wanted to become a chartered accountant. So my late Chacha, he used to be a partner with A.F. Ferguson and Company, which was one of the leading chartered accountants of that day. And he did exceptionally well. And I always thought I would become a chartered accountant. But when I grew up, I saw the kind of hard work it needed and the amount people needed to study to get through this very, very demanding course, perhaps one of the most demanding courses in the country. I chickened out and I decided against it. So, you cannot even imagine the pride I'm feeling to sit in front of you and, tell you about the subject, which I think I know a little about. And maybe after this webinar, all of you would have a little better idea about what this real estate market is all about. So I'll just introduce myself briefly. My name is Mohit Ratna. I'm a real estate professional. I have been into real estate for the last 16 years now. And I run a company called Infinity Realty, which specializes in real estate in the Gurgaon and the South Delhi markets. So basically, the reason why I look at chartered accountants and lawyers, because so with so much of regard, I keep them in such high regard, is because people take them very, very seriously. So if anybody, a chartered accountant or a lawyer, was to tell me anything, I would take the advice aankh band karke, So, and I think most business people are like that. And when a chartered accountant does give somebody's recommendation or tells them something that needs to be done, it usually gets done. So for me, a chartered accountant is like a family doctor. Family doctor, of course, deals with the physical health of somebody. The financial health are looked after by people like yourselves. So let me just start by giving a brief introduction about what the real estate markets are all about.
Mohit, before starting moving forward, can we have a word from Mr. Shashank Agarwalji about his perception on real estate and his any queries from the members if he has received anyone?
Sure.
Yeah. Apologies, Mohit ji.
Not at all, ji. Not at all.
Very good afternoon, all. Jai Shri Krishna. First of all, I also like to welcome Mohit ji on this platform. So East Delhi Study Circle has started in 1998 with very few members, and from that day it has been increased to 1,000 members, and all are very participating, learning day by day. So I just like to apprise you about all the members' effort to make it a group and make it a circle. And if you can see the young faces on here, the lawyer, CA turned law advocate, Mr. Shivashish Karnani ji.
Yeah.
So he's the person I can say that before starting of the GST as well, he was very keen that I'll understand the litigation, I'll understand the consulting part, and I'll see how the GST will help me to grow. And now we can say that we are very proud. Like East Delhi Study Circle is especially proud of Advocate Shivashish Karnani ji, because he is one among us who is rightly placed at the very right position and consulting, and like he's standing in the court. So it's very proud that he's fighting for the people, innocent people in the court. And on the real estate side, I really like to say one thing, that real estate is the most lucrative field if I talk about money, because ultimately the last objective of any business is to earn the money. And I have seen globally in the global market as well, those companies who are in the infrastructure markets have really gained so much money. And really there are so many legal complications, so many tax compliances they forget to do, because it's a very quick business. And many companies have been really destroyed in such litigations. If you have seen the JP, or if you have seen the SRS, so many companies actually like diluted in a 1 year only. So these kinds of the fate is also with the real estate companies. But the ethical real estate infrastructure providing consulting companies, development companies, I believe most of the chartered accountants also are into the real estate business. Either they are consulting that which land should be bought, and so it's a great opportunity for all of us here. And GST again, it's very critical if we talk about the transaction happening in the real estate market. There is a one case law as well, because we just discussed 3 or 4 days back on the GST. So maybe Shivashish ji will also add up in this particular case law, that there's one case is going on. I just like to apprise before all the members that if you are holding or if you are buying any property and you are just letting it out, so there's a case that you should take the credit, because you are making that property and you are letting it out to the people, so it should be utilized. So
there is a case, yes, there is a case that one is Safari Retreats, wherein it has been stated that if a person is constructing a hotel,
yes,
even though the law debars him to take the input tax credit, however, Odisha High Court has already stated that the credit is allowed, because in a way I am using that property for rendering the hotel services, and the matter is pending before Honorable Supreme Court. So let's see how the things proceed.
Because Shivashish, this kind of changes in the law excites the every chartered accountant as a consultant, because the next question will be, I have 4 homes, so 3 are on the rent. So should I start taking the credit of all the properties? So with all these words, I really like to thank Vineet for taking this big responsibility for managing this study circle, and welcome all of you. And I request Shivashish ji, would you like to add anything? We should start with the session of Mohit.
I think we can start with the session. Really eager to listen to Mohit sir, real estate professional, and let's see how the things proceed. Thank you, sir.
Mohit ji, we love money, so we will all hear your
well, so do I. We already have a lot in common. So thank you, Shashank, Vineet, and Shivashish, for this little bit of a chat we had and the introduction. So as I said, my name is Mohit, Ratna. I run a company called Infinity Realty. So having spoken for a little while earlier, I would just like to take this opportunity to tell you that all of us have got many avenues in real estate. Usually we put real estate in one umbrella or one basket to say, "Yaar, ye real estate hai." But real estate today, like all professionals, even for people like me, they are departmentalized now. So there is residential real estate. So in my opinion, for example, the first property that you must own is a house for yourself. Chota ho, bada ho, it doesn't really matter. But the first investment one should make is in a house. Firstly, you get tax breaks, you get a lot of benefits in terms of the taxation bit. I don't need to talk about that because you people will teach me. And the second thing, of course, is that there are great opportunities available in the commercial real estate arena. And then there is, of course, industrial, where the ticket sizes go very large sometimes. And also in the commercial, it is broken up into retail as well as office space. So briefly, I will talk about all of them. As I said, having one house which belongs to you, your first investment should be in a house, in a residential thing, so that you have a roof over your head, and for all times to come, it becomes a very, very strong support for you to do different things in life. A lot of times people have a job and they feel, yaar, ke rent de rahe hain, job ke bagair. But if you want to start some business, one of the things that holds people back is the fact ke yaar, apna ghar hota na, कि rent नहीं देना होता, तो it would have been much easier to take decisions like this. So that is one thing. Secondly, my entire thing goes that the second property that anybody affords within their life should never be another house. And why I say that, I'll give you the reasons for it. Firstly, if you buy a house today on current value terms, the rental return from housing, rental, if you give it out on rental, is between 1.5% to 2.5%. So 1.5 और 2.5% की वो होती है. Lot of times people say, यार मैंने तो प्रॉपर्टी बड़ी सस्ती खरीदी थी, मैंने तो 1 करोड़ रुपए की खरीदी थी, अब 4 करोड़ रुपए की हो गई है. But the fact of the matter is, today you're sitting on a 4 crore rupee property, right? It's not 1 crore any longer. So if you're getting a return, you have to calculate that return on the current market price of that property. So in residential real estate, you'll never get a rental yield of more than 1.5%, 2%. So commercial real estate, on the other hand, gives you about a 6 to 8% yield, which is virtually 3 times or 4 times of what you would get in the residential thing. So it's a no-brainer. It'll do better. The other reasons are that in a residential real estate, you're dealing with a particular person. A person can go through bad times. We saw Corona, a lot of people lost their jobs and everything. So the entire rental thing gets into a little bit of a situation where you have to rely on one particular individual or a particular family to make good your rental. In commercial real estate, you've done your due diligence. It's a corporate. You've given it out for a longer period of time, whether it's 3 years, 6 years, 9 years. And at least, for the period of the lease, you will not have to really ask for your rental or follow up too much, because it's a corporatized kind of a setup. The other thing is that over a period of time, I feel that real estate, residential and commercial do balance out, because for maybe a year or two, one does much, much better than the other. So I'll give you an example. In year 2006-07, when I got into real estate myself, there was this huge ceiling drive which was happening in Delhi. Ek Justice Sabharwal hote the Supreme Court ke, that they did not allow misuse of residential property for commercial. And there were lots of bans on using houses as, otherwise it was a free for all before that. That pushed up commercial real estate prices about 3 times in 2 years. Now you heard me right, 3 times in 2 years. So 2 district centers we worked on that time was Jasola District Center and Saket District Center. Saket District Center है जहाँ Select City Walk वगैरह restaurant हैं, वो malls हैं. उसके पास there were 3 or 4 office buildings. We used to sell those office buildings at 5,600 rupees a square foot in 2006. By 2009, they had reached 20,000 rupees a square foot. We were thinking that the rentals over there will be 55 rupees a square foot. वो जाके 200 रुपए पर जाके rental settle हुए उधर. So sometimes you get these abnormalities in basically investment, this thing, but like all things, logic prevails over a period of time, and then they stabilized, came down, stabilized, and the residential thing over the next many years did much, much better. So talking of all these particular things, I just wanted to tell you that there are different investment opportunities available to suit each and every individual, be it an individual, be it a corporate, be it a high net worth individual, and where you can really maximize your return from the asset that you have. Real estate, as we all know, is very tangible. It's very real. It's not like the stock market के यार 30% चढ़ गई और 40% गिर भी गई उसी साल के अंदर. By and large, it follows a very stable trajectory because now we are in a very mature kind of a market. तो ये जो दिन हुए कि property prices will double in 1 year, 1.5 years, usually don't happen. But going ahead, I still feel that real estate prices in our country, because of our entire psyche, हमको सिखाया गया है कि यार real estate is the best form of investment. And even now, people have this obsession to buy multiple properties. So if you are a well-heeled person who's done well in their profession or business, and most people, if they've done well consistently over a period of 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, end up buying 4, 5, 6 properties. So all these 4, 5, 6 properties over a period of time multiply in value. And it's not that they multiply that you need very big brains to find out कि क्या इतना चढ़ेगा. Everybody's grandfather must have bought some property for a few lakhs of rupees, which is worth 10 crores, 15 crores, 20 crores today, if they have not sold it earlier. So it's real, it's tangible, and it's very easily realizable that whenever you want some loan, you can get it against the property. You want to sell it, you can get it. You can always downsize. आज आपके पास बहुत बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी है 20 करोड़ रुपए की, and you want to move to a bigger, different location. You can pocket some of the money, invest it in business. You can do various things with it. So basically, this is what I just wanted to explain to you, that the difference between residential and commercial real estate. And there are some salient features of commercial real estate properties that I would like to just briefly speak to you about. Firstly, that the commercial real estate rentals are for usually a period of 6 to 9 years. Then they are stable and risk-free rentals. And with declining interest rates, and आजकल तो declining नहीं रहे, but they are stabilized to a fair extent. But one can get a fairly decent 7 to 8% rental yield on commercial real estate, which makes it quite attractive because आजकल fixed deposits you get about 6% or so. They keep pace with inflation. Now, this is very important that an FD just about manages to keep your head above water if the inflation is between 5 and 7%. Here it's 7 or 8% over a period of time. There is an escalation clause which comes in the rental every 2 years or every 3 years. So because of that escalation clause, that the rental returns and the capital appreciation is always more than what it is in other fixed financial instruments. And FDs currently are just about a 5.5-6% thing. Residential real estate, I told you, gives you a rental return of only 1.5 to 2%. But as I said, the first property that you need to own is residential real estate. That another thing I wanted to give you so that I share with you some true life examples, which I have seen in my career over the last few years. So two things come to my mind. One is if I go back to the year 2001, 2002, I was not in real estate at that time. And I have a very, very close friend who wanted to invest in commercial real estate in Gurgaon. So ये आया देखने के लिए मेरे को साथ में लाया because I used to stay in Gurgaon even then. He took me to a market called Galleria, DLF Galleria and DLF Phase 4. And this was made by DLF. The thing was almost ready. They were giving possession in the next 2 or 3 months. And he bought himself 1800 square feet over 3 shops next to each other. So 600 square feet की दुकानें थी, उसने 3 ले ली ground floor के ऊपर. Now he ran his own store there for the first 5 years, and the stores had moderate success. He'd taken up a franchisee of a particular company, but ठीक chala. It didn't do very, very well. So he closed down 2 of those 3 stores and he gave them out on rental. Today, the rental, which he bought at 5,000 rupees a square foot for prime space, retail space on the ground floor, today the rate of the ground floor is 3 lakh rupees a square foot. It is amongst the most expensive pieces of real estate in our country. And after Khan Market, the most expensive real estate in NCR region for retail area. Now you look at it that a 1 crore rupee investment has gone to almost about a 25, 26 crore rupee valuation today. And it's all happened in a time of 20, 21 years. So he must have earned so much money in rentals because he had rented out 2/3 of it. He still retains 1/3 the shop, one out of the 3 shops for his own retail thing. And the amount of money he must have amassed investing those money into mutual funds and all, because he's a very, very savvy investor, is unbelievable. So sometimes real estate gives you very, very great benefits, and you've got to just have a good consultant to be able to guide you to one good thing that you might do in your lifetime. This is one. Second thing is, when Saket District Center was coming up, I sold a lot of office space over there, did not sell any retail area. But the office space we sold at about 6,000 rupees a square foot. Today, the rate is about 25,000 rupees a square foot in about 16 years or so. So it's gone up virtually 4 times. And people would have got at least 3 times, about double of what they've already invested in the capital values initially as rental returns over the last 16 years. So sometimes you just stick with a particular investment, don't reinvent the wheel, just hold on to a property for a long term. It gives you fantastic, fantastic results. So these are the 2 case studies that I just wanted to briefly share with all of you. And I would also now like to speak about the legality of buying real estate. So sometimes you see papers, or I see papers. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I a chartered accountant, but being in the profession for long enough, I have got a little bit of an idea as to where I can spot a red flag. So jahan, where the chain is not very long, it has come from father, somebody has bought a particular property and there has not been a very long chain over there. And then the property, they are selling a particular property. Sometimes it's very easy. You don't even need to consult a lawyer. You can just see the papers. A good real estate consultant can guide you with it. But wherever there has been a death involved and there has been a succession certificate, in that case, it's best to give this particular thing to a good legal firm to do a due diligence on it. And a lot of savvy investors of mine, a lot of clients of mine do another very smart thing these days. They take a bank loan. So if bank is giving you a loan for it, they will do the due diligence better than most lawyers do, because they have a very, very good panel, and they will take it out, do the full true blue due diligence. And even though property might be multiple crores of rupees, even if they take a 1 crore, 1.5 crore rupee loan, they are sure that their property papers are very, very well vetted by the best people in their business. And you can always repay, property loans after a year, year and a half. These days, most people have either very small penalties or no penalties at all. So that is something which I just thought a lot of times you would come up with clients telling you कि यार ये पेपर्स हैं इनके, आप थोड़ा देख लो और हमको गाइड करो कि हम खरीदें कि नहीं खरीदें. Firstly, that should be done by a lawyer. And in case you don't want to give it to a lawyer, the best thing would be to take a loan against, have a bank finance part of the property, and you can be rest assured that the due diligence will be done better than you and me can do it. And real estate markets, of course, are always full of opportunities. If something has gone up, there will be something which is a laggard. And as I said, common sense or practicality will take over. All facets of real estate industry will eventually move in the same direction. They might move at different speeds, but they will definitely move in the same direction. And so you just need to catch those opportunities. So getting rich through real estate, I remember Vineet ne or Shashank ne dono bola कि we are chartered accountants, we love money. getting rich through real estate is perhaps the easiest way to get rich. So, as I said, so many times your grandfather has bought a property for 2 lakhs and the grandson sold it for 20 crores. Neither the grandfather was smart, neither the grandson is smart to sell it at 20 crores of rupees. It's just the passage of time. सबसे बड़ा बलवान इसमें टाइम ही है कि 30 साल 40 साल किसी ने प्रॉपर्टी बेची नहीं और family did not need to sell it for some that they were lucky, and the property prices have appreciated so much. So nobody needs to take credit for it except for time. That's it. 90% of apparently all millionaires in the world, these are statistics which I have not made but I've just read about, have become millionaires through real estate. It's passive income. It goes up over a period of time. You buy a property, you do a little bit of research on the particular property, put in some thought into it, and just sit on it. And that's the best way to get rich over a period of time. Landlords get rich in their sleep. You are paying rental not for the time of the day that you're using your office or your house. You're even paying rental when you are sleeping and not using it. So this is the way it is. This is the way the real estate markets are. And if there is anything I can, at this particular time, anybody's got any questions, I'll be very, very happy to answer them for you. And then we can take this discussion forward. Thank you so much.
So there is one question.
Andy.
The question is given in question answer box. Just a second. So it states, how do we decide if the value of a commercial property in a particular locality is going to increase in future?
Okay, let me answer this question for you. It's a very, very pertinent question in today's day and age. Now, if you rewind 2 years when COVID hit us, in fact, 3 years, 2020 March it hit us, but for 2.5 साल से तो हम जूझ ही रहे थे उससे. And what happened was every noise in the market was that, you know, ye to commercial real estate market will now fall because there is, people are so happy working from home, employers are saving money, people are happy. So why will people go back to offices? I'll give you an example. That TCS, which is the largest IT company in India, I don't know whether any of you followed it. Their CEO and chairman says that we will in future drop down our what do you call costs of acquisition of real estate and rentals by about 40 to 50% because we plan to shut operations in 50% of our offices. We want to downsize because we've realized that people have very, very good output working from their homes and we can save a lot of costs like this. Now, when a market leader speaks like this, and you know, okay, IT space is very, very large percentage of the total established commercial office space in the country. Everybody thought that this particular industry will now go down the dumps absolutely. But jaise hi things started becoming okay and people started getting back to offices, the demand has picked up again. Don't forget that over the last 4 years, 5 years, because 3 years for COVID and 2 years before that, the markets were still very shaky and there was no new inventory which was being added in the market. So today I work out of the Gurgaon market and South Delhi market. There is an utter shortage of commercial real estate because jo bhi inventory thi has now been all absorbed. In fact, I would not say all of it. At one time, there was like as much as a 40% overhang. Now that 40% overhang must have come down to maybe single digits or at best 10% or so. It's a matter of time in the next, say, a year, year and a half, 2 years or so. I would be very surprised if the NCR commercial real estate market does not appreciate 20 to 30% over the next 2 to 3 years.
There is another question on the chat box.
Okay, you said about a particular locality. Now, dekho, this is a little bit of a tricky question. I know you guys are from East Delhi. You people are very comfortable with Noida because Noida has got a very good quality office space also. But IT space, Noida has always done very, very well. And, you know, HCL group is there and there are a few other large groups. It's very, very well connected through metro. But commercial office space, I think Gurgaon has got the edge because being closer to the airport, and I think the multinational companies have got a little more faith in Gurgaon for reasons best known to them than other parts of Delhi and Noida. So I still feel commercial office space में करना है, छोटे areas में करना है, what they call strata sales. Gurgaon is a better market to invest than any other. Yeah. So one Mr. Malik has said, any sure shot deal available with you? Malik Saab, definitely. I would think they are short shot. So you can get in touch with me whenever you want to. It's not the right thing for me to share my number with so many people because I'm not here to solicit business. I was just here for the sheer pleasure of speaking and interacting with all of you. But I know Shivashi, she's like a younger brother to me. So if at all, you can just reach out to him and get my credentials and get my contact details from him whenever you want to. And just say I'm a Shivashish's friend and speak to me. I'll be happy to talk to you whenever you're free.
Mohit ji, do you have any idea about how the gift city will work? Like
How the
gift city investment in gift city can be
in Gujarat?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not done any work over there, but I'll tell you, Sir Dohar also is one what do you call very popular kind of a place over there. That it's a new city which is coming up, which is an industrial township being set up by the government of Gujarat, and it has already got a lot of prominent investors setting up solar plants over there, setting up e-batteries for the EV industry and everything. But these places have a very, very long gestation period. So I'm sure it will be very, very good in the long term, but I'm not so conversant with the Gujarat markets. But be prepared to hold on to these investments for about 10 years at least. And it would be always wise to hold on to any kind of a plotted colony that you have over there rather than a built up space. Because let me tell you what the downside of a built up place is. Built up place jab hoegi na, once the building is ready, they will give you possession. Then you need to start paying maintenance. So if it's a plotted thing, it's always much, much better because the cost of holding onto a plot is much lower. Shashank, we've lost your voice. I think
I think it's on mute. So
yeah.
Okay, I totally understand. I've also written it down in my records. But yes, you are true that it is having a huge gestation period. So
yeah, gestation period, and whenever you feel like, let me give an example of a place called Dwarka Expressway. Now, this is, I think, something which had so much of promise but turned out into a fiasco. The reason is that Dwarka, if you look at the Delhi market, it is the largest concentration of educated manpower who live over there, upper middle class people, and who work in Gurgaon. Now, this particular thing, it connects Delhi and Gurgaon, which through a road called Dwarka Expressway, which actually runs parallel to the NH8. So had this particular road come up on time, like it should have come up 8 years ago, we wouldn't have had the traffic problems that we have over there. This place was really, really well positioned to be a fantastic colony. They have created houses over there, colonies over there, sectors over there, condominiums over there, but there is no road. So imagine the plight of people who bought property there, took housing loans over there, were forced to move there under duress because they can't pay the house rent also and pay a EMI. They needed to move into their own house. And it was such a colossal failure of the part of Delhi government and Haryana government not to put that thing together. And thank God for Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, who made that into a national highway. And then, the acquisitions become a little easier and everything. Hopefully, it should see the light of the day in the next year and a half. Any other question?
There are no questions on the chat box or question answer box, sir.
Okay.
We can proceed.
ठीक है. So basically, the other thing about I spoke about. I've spoken about commercial real estate and residential. As I told you, should be a thing. You in residential real estate, you just look at a very, very fundamental thing, that with the way the world is today, the way the cities are today, make sure that your place of work and your children's school or anybody in the house, that they don't need to commute too much to their place of work or to their school. Because the last thing you want to do your loved ones is to make sure that out of 24 hours, they spend 4 or 5 hours in a vehicle, whether it's a public transport or their own vehicle, and go through this entire pollution and all. So spend a thought of on location, and wherever you have a place of work, there are good schools everywhere today. So your children will get admission. Nobody will remain uneducated in this world. But choose a residential real estate wisely, and I think it'll make everybody's job so much easier. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about was timing in real estate. Everything is timing. Let me give you an example of that. In 2013, the real estate markets peaked at that time. So 2013 was the highest they touched for residential real estate in the NCR region. In fact, when I'm talking about NCR region, you can be rest assured 6 months upar niche, it will be the peak in India only. Now, what happened was 2013 ke baad, market started correcting. Right up till 2018 tak, the markets were very lackluster. They must have hit the rock bottom in 2014-15. And after that, they just remained very range bound right up till 2018. In 2019, 1 year before COVID, the market started going up. And sometime in end 2019, beginning 2020, before the first lockdown, they had come at par with what they were in 2013. They had come at par. Now, ab hua kya ke people who are holding on to assets saying that yaar हमारा पार पे होएगा तो हम बेचेंगे, वो तो बेच के बेचारे निकल गए 5% के नुकसान पे या 5-10% के प्रॉफिट में. Now look at people who would have bought in 2017-18. Right from 17-18 to 2021-22, there has been a 50 to 60% jump in real estate prices, at least in the Gurgaon market, 30% or so in Delhi, and I think Noida and East Delhi, West Delhi, everything would be in the region of 30 or 40%. So when you've seen a 30-40% appreciation over a 3-year band, it's considered very, very, very good for a mature market. But imagine अगर 2013 में किसी ने उठाया होता और आज तक उसने होल्ड किए हैं, he's seen a 50-60% return over virtually a 9-year period, which is not even meeting inflation. So timing is everything. And frankly, this is where I feel somebody who's got good knowledge of real estate, you should always consult such people and see where you can make your next thing. You need to be ahead of the curve. Index stocks में तो अगर index पे पैसे लगाने हैं, stock market बढ़ेगी तो proportionately बढ़ेगी. But if you really want to make a big, better than the market, then you need to take decisions which are smarter than the rest of the market. But going forward, I feel after this COVID era has now subsided, hopefully we will never have another wave. I'm quite hopeful about it now. But going forward, I feel commercial real estate in the next 2 or 3 years will be in a huge shortage. And I frankly feel that that shortage is going to lead to at least a 30 to 40% rise in property prices in this field. Anything else?
There is one question on the chat box. Mohit,
let me also see.
What's your views of investment in Manesar area?
Okay, let me tell you. This is, I'll talk of Manesar and I'll talk of another place also. Manesar has done exceedingly well, and I'll tell you why it has done very well. But like a lot of industrial places, sometimes people outpace themselves or outprice themselves out of the market. पहले मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं उद्योग विहार का. उद्योग विहार इज सेंटर ऑफ गुड़गांव. इफ यू पीपल हु बीन टू गुड़गांव, जहां ओबरॉय होटल है और जहां एयरटेल की बिल्डिंग है, बिटवीन दैट एरिया इज उद्योग विहार 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now what happened over there is that at one time it was a gud for garment exporters. So ज़्यादातर garment export factories इधर होती थी when we about 15 years back, 20 years back, 25 years back. Lot of rich exporters of Delhi and South Delhi used to have their factories in Udyog Vihar. Today, land has become so expensive that anybody can't buy a factory over there and start an export business. So what they've converted them into is office spaces, IT spaces, and things like this. Exactly the same thing is happening with Manesar now. So what has happened is a lot of times people who were sitting on say 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 1 acre plots and who were exporters, they suddenly thought यार कि यार export में तो उतना पैसा नहीं है जितना real estate में है. तो आज अपनी प्रॉपर्टी बेचते हैं 1000 मीटर की 14-15 करोड़ रुपए मिल जाएंगे. मानेसर में 5 करोड़ रुपए में खरीदते हैं सेम साइज एंड 10 करोड़ रुपए पॉकेट करो and invest it or whatever you can do with it. It made a lot of sense for a lot of people. A lot of people did that. But today, even Manesar is not so cheap any longer. But Manesar has got a lot of big factories. You know, there is Maruti over there. There is Maruti in Udyog Vihar also. But the Manesar factories, there, a lot of the large ancillaries are over there. And some of these large ancillaries are working out of 5-acre projects, 4-acre projects and things like this. So actually looking at what all development is happening in this area, I frankly feel Manesar will continue to do well for a long time in the future. So to answer your question, I think Manesar is on a very, very good wicket as far as the geography of Gurgaon is concerned, and it will continue to be strong over the next few years.
There isn't any other question. Yes.
So if the panelists have any questions, you are most welcome to ask me. Otherwise, I think I have spoken enough at the time allotted to me. So thank you very much. And it was absolute pleasure for me to have spent some time over here and shared my views with all of you. And I'm really, really thankful for the panel to have invited me here. And hopefully one day in physical form, I shall meet some of you. And, we will enjoy a couple of chai or coffee together.
Mohit ji, absolutely. Like, as you said. So how your interest has been inclined for this, these kind of solutions? And like, are you helping people in identification only, or like
I do broking business also, yeah. So for me it is identification. Dekho, I have my viewpoints, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. I have a particular family who came to me and they had sold a large amount of land which they had bought, you know, agricultural land. So they had bought it like 15-20 years ago. And in fact, the government had acquired their land at a very, very handsome price. So these people came to me, then, you know, they were large family. It was divided into 4 parts. And each part was very substantial. Okay, what should we do with it? So I gave them a few options. They needed to invest something in the capital gains thing also. So we offered them, you know, what kind of houses. They were allergic to high-rise buildings. So they said, humko jad se chahiye cheezein. So I got them that. Then they wanted to figure out if 2 of their in the daughters in the family father could set up a good rental income for them. So we helped them advise that. So I can give people ideas. There are some markets I don't operate in. In that case, I can at least be frank enough with my clients to say, this is something I don't have a idea about. I recently, in fact, in Preet Vihar, I got one of my clients in Bombay wanted to sell an ancestral house over there. So I could not do it on my own, but I know people. Because I've been in the trade for long enough, I know people whom I can trust. We did the transaction eventually, but with help. And that's the way my industry works. Unlike chartered accountants who have large CA firms with so many partners, because of the fact that I'm a one-person thing, whether it's a small transaction, large transaction, very large transaction, I need to be sitting in the meeting myself to close the transaction. So kabhi hota hai ke we don't have a corporatized setup, so it works against us. So, but with all of you around, friends like you around, and this thing, so in particular locations where I'm not very good at, or I don't have too much of knowledge, I can get that knowledge and I can have somebody else guide me over there.
Great, sir. Great. I'll definitely connect, sir.
Super. It was great to spend time with all of you. And as I said, when people are as accomplished as chartered accountants, for me, you guys are, making a difference into so many people. So insights which are given by you are going to make or break your clients. And a good chartered accountant is something which is God-given. And I think all of you would have made a difference to so many of your clients going back for all the years that you've been in practice. So thank you so very much. A special thanks to Shivashish. Thank you for introducing me to your fantastic group over here. Vineet and Shashank, thank you so much as great panelists to have alongside me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you.